Transition awareness breathing. Feeling grounded for both children and parents is essential for healthy living and learning. Join Eartha Powell on this series for tips and tools for creating a harmonious environment for learning. Transition awareness breathing will help you and your child find an individualized path to tackle change, promote lifelong learning, and discover new approaches to calmness.
Hi, welcome back. This is Eartha, and we are continuing in our Transition Awareness Breathing podcast, Positive Mindset Leadership Seminar. This is the fourth session that we will be with each other. And to start this session off, I would like to thank Web Talk Radio for allowing me to bring Transition Awareness Breathing podcasts to you. And thank you to my producers, Mary Lou and Sam, for making Transition Awareness Breathing podcast flexible and available to my viewers and my listeners, wherever you may be. Let's get started. I like to start off with a story. This is a true story. It's a story about a little girl who had a stuttering problem. Her parents were very loving and very, very kind. And they were really hard-working, blue-collar parents who just worked a lot of long hours to bring the family and bring the children anything and everything that they needed. Maybe not everything that they wanted, but certainly everything that they needed. They sent their children to a private school because they wanted to protect the children from a lot of negativity and violence that was going on in some of the public schools in their area. The little girl stuttered. And she didn't stutter a little bit. She stuttered a lot. It seemed that once she started to speak, she couldn't get off certain syllables. And so as a result, in school, she wouldn't talk. And so everyone thought she was shy, and she was shy, and so she used her shyness as a shield because she didn't want to talk because she knew she had a stuttering problem. At home, though, she got teased by her sibling, and it wasn't a little bit of teasing, it was a lot of teasing, and it really hurt her feelings. But one way or the other, stuttering or no stuttering, she got her point across. She did not like to be teased. Finally, the school talked to the parents, and the parents shared that, this little girl had a stuttering problem. And the school recommended speech therapy. And they agreed to allow their daughter to go to speech therapy. The little girl found speech therapy kind of fun because it was a break from the regular classroom. She felt kind of special. She was able to get up in the middle of math and go to speech therapy because her speech therapist would come to the classroom and escort her to the speech therapy room. She felt special. The speech therapist worked with her and was so kind and had such a calming voice. There's one thing that stuck in the little girl's mind was slow your thinking, slow your speech. What you're thinking in your mind is normal for you, but for the rest of us, you have to slow down for us because we don't think as fast as you talk. When the speech therapist put it like that, it changed the way the little girl even thought about speaking, and she slowed her speech down she would think about what she would say and say it very slow. And miraculously, she felt more confident and comfortable speaking and made a few friends along the way. That little girl is me. It's not was me, is me. Because I still use the same techniques to slow myself down, to think about what I'm saying. And so, as we continue in our journey and discussion about transition awareness breathing as a positive mindset academy or seminar, this part of our time is learning to recognize if we need help. During our first session, just to summarize the first 3 sessions, during the first session, we talked about recognizing ourselves as a leader for our behavior, a leader for what we think and what we do. We talked about thinking positive and not allowing ourselves to be negative, because when we allow ourselves to be around a lot of negativity, we'll absorb a negative mindset, and often that leads to difficulty making decisions and problem solving. We want to make a positive footstep in this world to make a change. In session 2, we continued and we recognized and discussed how being a leader, we have to be aware, the awareness and mindfulness of not just what we say, but how we say it. And we also talked about, as a leader of ourselves, that we have choices in how we respond. We talked about the story about the dark clouds and how pilots go through special training to fly above the dark clouds. And above the clouds is sunny and clear. However, whether that pilot is bringing that aircraft, ascending it up above the clouds or descending it below the clouds, going through the clouds, that pilot must stay calm and recognize that bumpy ride is just temporary. And so we use that as an analogy that as we are developing ourselves as a leader, we have a choice to either rise above the dark, bumpy clouds or stay in it. And we are making a commitment to rise above the dark, bumpy clouds. In session 3, we talked about, okay, we're ready to settle down as a leader, accepting that we are leaders of our behavior. And also knowing that being a leader can sometimes be painful and challenging. And many times we have to use the mindfulness skill of the body scan and take a look at how we are saying our words, the inflections, and our body movements. And we call that the internal leadership scan. And we're using this internal leadership scan so that we can recognize how we are coming across. Because oftentimes, maybe our emotional intelligence and how we're communicating and responding to others, it may need to be a little strengthened. It may need a little help. We may need to learn different ways to strengthen our ability to recognize what we're saying and how it affects others. And with that being said, it leads us to our fourth session today of recognizing when we need help as a leader of ourselves. I invite you to use your sense of curiosity and to uncover and be willing to accept when you need help, when I need help. We all have strengths and we have areas that need improvement. No one is perfect. If we think that we're perfect, that is a sign of our weakness. We gain strength through different experiences. We gain strength through learning from mentors and teachers. And so all that counts. Even with great mentors and great teachers, we can improve how we hold ourselves as mindful leaders. And that's the key. There's leaders, and then there's mindful leaders. As a mindful leader, we're going to let go of judging ourselves. We're going to let go of thinking that, we just can't do it. We just don't have it in us. We're going to let go of trying to believe or allowing ourselves to believe what others might try to put limitations on us. And instead, we're going to choose, and we're going to say to ourselves, what I'm going through right now may be a little bit challenging, but I'm not going to quit. I know that I am a good person, and more than that, I want to make a change in this world. And so maybe I don't have the skills, but I want to learn to do better. So where do you go? So I shared the story about myself. When I was little, I went to speech therapy. When you're driving, you don't know where to go. What do we do? Well, now, most of us use a GPS. They are cool. And they help us reach our destination, sometimes, in a quicker way because it picks up all the different traffic jams and frequent red lights, and it gets us on a smooth path. But, when we speak about self-leadership, sometimes those traffic jams and all those red lights help us to become stronger. Where am I going with this? I invite you, my friends, to look at the perspective. I'm inviting you to be curious about the perspective that you take when it comes to challenges. We can look at challenges as someone that's trying to squash us down, or something that's trying to squash us down, or we can look at challenges as weights to build us up. When we take a challenge, whatever it may be, if we have the perspective that, okay, I don't know what to do in this situation, I'm going to ask and find out whatever the resources are. If we are a type of person, and maybe we could be a little bit better at listening. We could get ourselves involved in various activities that involve listening to music, listening to relaxation music, and listening for the sounds of different details. If we are a type of person where we talk too fast and our messages are getting missed, we can use different tools to help us slow down and to think and to meditate. What am I really trying to say? And then asking for feedback. Yeah, asking for feedback. That's a little hard. And when we get the feedback, recognizing that when we ask for feedback, that is that person's perspective. It doesn't make us a bad person. If we have difficulties, we can recognize that we have difficulties with this, and being open and sometimes being a little bit sensitive and humble and recognizing that certain things are difficult for us. And so asking a mentor or a close friend, and maybe that person doesn't know any more than we do, but together we can learn together. And the most important thing is being positive. Commit yourself, I commit myself to finding the positive perspective of whatever situation that we are in. Because, look, if you're at the bottom of a pit, there's one way to go, and that is up. And you may not be out of the pit, but you may be halfway out of the pit. And if you fall, that means you're stronger to grow and climb up that pit a little bit more. And if you fall again, you're even stronger because now you know the walls around the pit. But one thing that we're not going to do is we're not going to stay in the pit. So take time for yourself and recognize your strengths and commit to making even what you feel are strengths, sharing your strengths with others. And then things that you have weaknesses in, find a class or a mentor or listen to a podcast and think of this as an opportunity to grow stronger and try again. Don't hide the weak spots. Expose and grow. And soon those weak spots will become strengths. Thank you so much for joining me in Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast Positive Mindset Seminar. I hope you got something, maybe one thing out of this seminar that you can take away and use today. Remember, TAB is more than mindfulness. Have a great day.
Be sure and pick up a copy of Eartha's new book, TAB Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's not just an ordinary coloring book. It features 23 illustrations to stimulate thought, relaxation, and creativity for anyone between the ages of 4 and 94. Increase your positive self-talk energy. Unlock new creative paths. Transform your time once or twice a week to create beautiful art while strengthening confidence, building positive self-talk, and sensitize self-awareness. TAB Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's available now at Amazon.com.